November 18, 2013, regular meeting of the Daytona Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. We're delighted to have you with us this evening. At this time, Mrs. Thomas will review the procedures for tonight's meeting.
Good evening. Agendas are available in the front of the room on the table to my right. All of the exhibits pertaining to items on the agenda are posted on the bulletin board here in the chambers. Please feel free to view them at any time during tonight's meeting. You are required to fill out a blue form. My assistant, Ms. LaMagna, is holding the form up. You must complete the sections that ask for your name, address, topic of concern, agenda item number, signature, and date. The form must be placed in a designated box prior to the item coming before the Community Redevelopment Agency. Item number 6A is your opportunity to address the CRA concerning any item on tonight's agenda that is not scheduled as a public hearing, and you may address the CRA on any issue that is not on the agenda. Resolutions under administrative items number 7 are open for public comments, and you may fill out a blue form when the time is available. All citizens completing a form will be allowed to speak for 2 minutes. When you approach the lectern, please speak clearly into the microphone and give your full name and address. The 2-minute clock will begin. You will be told when your time has expired. All conversation must take place either on the lectern or on the dais so that everyone can hear the business that's being discussed tonight. Thank you.
Mrs. Thomas, may we have a roll call?
Commissioner Reed. Commissioner Lentz. Here. Commissioner Woods.
Here.
Commissioner White.
Here.
Commissioner Gilliland.
Here.
Commissioner Henry.
Here.
Mayor Derek Henry.
Here. We will now have the invocation led by Commissioner Henry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Reed. Please rise for the invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for giving us the opportunity to serve our city. We thank you for the many blessings that you're bestowing upon Daytona Beach, and ask that you continue to bless us into the new year. In your precious Son, Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now move on to item 4A. It is the approval of the November 20th special meeting of the Community Redevelopment Agency.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Gilliland, a second by Commissioner Woods. Do we have questions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of the approval of the minutes, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
We will now move on to item number 5. It is the agenda approval. Mr. Chisholm will review any changes.
There are no changes, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
The motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Likes not opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
We will now move on to item number 6. It is an opportunity for citizens to make comments before the Community Redevelopment Agency. During this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the CRA on any matter that is not on the agenda. And I have no one to sign up for item number 6.
I think Councilman Wagner's son was just
Okay. Well, with that having been said, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Councilman Wagner, who represents the majority of Daytona Beach. And thank you for joining us this evening.
We will now move on to our administrative items. Item number 7A is the Hard Rock Redevelopment Incentive Agreement Approval Resolution, a resolution approving an agreement with the City of Daytona Beach and 801 through 905 South Atlantic LP, providing for reimbursement of certain construction costs for public improvements in an amount not to exceed $4 million in connection with the development of a Hard Rock Hotel and Cafe on property located along the 700 through the 900 block of South Atlantic Avenue in the South Atlantic redevelopment area. approving expenditures of tax increment funds from the South Atlantic Redevelopment Area Trust Fund for a portion of the reimbursement, authorizing the mayor and the CRA chair. Let me start over. Authorizing the mayor as CRA chair and the city clerk to execute the Hard Rock Redevelopment Incentive Agreement and providing an effective date.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Henry and a second by Commissioner Gilliland.
I do have several speakers, Mr. Mayor. Our first speaker is Lisa France Kennedy.
Okay, Mr. Chisholm.
Just a item of clarification for everybody. The $4 million cap really is including only funds paid by the Hard Rock Development and fees collected from the Hard Rock Development.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Appreciate it. I'm here in support of the Hard Rock Hotel project. I think this is exactly the kind of project we need in Daytona Beach. And I can tell you, too, that I feel like the brand is a global brand, just like Daytona Beach has a global brand, and I think it's a perfect fit for what we're all trying to do in the community. I also would like to tell you that I feel like it's complementary to the projects that we're working on out at the Speedway with One Daytona and Daytona Rising. We need more quality hotels, more quality entertainment, and destinations, and I think the Hard Rock Hotel will provide just that. Also, and very importantly, more jobs. We're all looking for more jobs, and the Hard Rock Hotel project is going to bring many, many more new jobs to this area. And Manpower just predicted that our area will lead the nation in 2014 in job growth. And that's because everything that's going on right now in this town, everything that's going on in Daytona Beach, and I would really welcome the Hard Rock Hotel here. I think it would be an excellent addition to what we're trying to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Hyatt Brown.
Thank you, ma'am, and Mr. Mayor and members of the Commission. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm here to support the Hard Rock project. I've always known that Daytona Beach had a higher calling, and I believe that when one understands the entirety of this project and when it's completed, it brings our area in terms of resort entertainment to the next level, and then maybe the next level. And so when you think about $125 or $30 million of investments in the community, and the accelerator, the multiplier is 3 or 4, that's $500 or $600 million going around in the community, creating jobs, creating opportunity for people who have had some tough times. We've all had some tough times. This is a great opportunity for our community. And I've had the opportunity to meet the developers, the people, the brains behind it, Henry Wolfond and his corporate group. Their ideas about what they're going to bring to us here are a little different than we've had in the past, and it really is exciting to me. And as a person, incidentally, I'm supposed to give you my address. I have dual addresses, 220 South Ridgewood Avenue and 213 Riverside Drive. And so one is here and one is a little farther north of here, and the entire area benefits from something like this. So it is, again, a situation where we don't want to lose this opportunity. It is before us. We have a leadership team that is really good, and I'm very impressed with them. And so I urge you to support it, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Our next speaker is Gigi Galloway, and on deck is Phil Maroney.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman. I was lucky enough to move into this community about 30 years ago. One of the things that we need to work on is getting quality hotels on that beachfront. We are known as the world's most famous beach. We have 2 anchor opportunities to develop us to come back to the world's most famous beach that we once had been. What bothers some of us in the real estate community is when we have major events that I-4 is being full of buses going west and putting national and international clients into Class A 5-star hotels. This is a golden opportunity for us to rebrand and say that we can put these 5-star Class AAA hotels on the world's most famous beach and keep those dollars in the greater Daytona Beach area instead of Orlando licking their chops and saying, come over to our 5-star hotels. I hope y'all will look at this, as Hyatt said, as a multiplier. It will be like a falling domino effect. We have sold almost all of the large land that is vacant over there, and there are people waiting to come. And once we get that national, international flag, I think you'll see more to come. Thank y'all for the time.
Thank you.
Phil Maroney, and on deck is Makola Abdullah.
Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, thanks for the opportunity to speak today. My name's Phil Maroney. I'm president of the Root Company and also the 2013 chairman of the Daytona Beach Regional Chamber of Commerce. Address 1737 North Clyde Morris Boulevard, Daytona Beach. I'm here tonight to speak in favor of the Hard Rock project. I want to start off by thanking the developers from Bayshore Capital. They're here this evening for a wonderful opportunity and for having faith in Daytona Beach. We welcome you to our community and appreciate the investment and participation that you're having here. The Hard Rock, in my opinion, is the catalyst for growth, not only on the beach side for its renaissance, but also for the entire eastern half of this county. It's going to spur greater interest in this market from both investors and visitors. Benefits are overwhelmingly positive. Hundreds of new jobs for our residents, both during construction and upon completion, and careers for graduates of local college and universities, hospitality programs. That's very, very important, the job aspect of this thing. Tourism, of course, is huge for our area. This is going to provide a new venue for lodging and bring in new business, including convention business. The brand's known worldwide, and it's going to increase exposure to Daytona Beach from national and international visitors, as has been mentioned. I think it's going to bring potential future residents to our area as well, including, in addition to the investors. It's going to provide first-class entertainment venue. And like Gigi said, you know, it's going to keep local and visitor dollars here as opposed to people seeking, you know, entertainment out in Orlando. Economic development impact is going to be phenomenal. Hyatt talked about the multiplier effect. That's going to be huge for our local area. And lastly, I'd just like to mention the positive impact on beachside property values. In turn, ad valorem tax dollars it's going to generate is going to be huge, and it's going to reduce the residence burden. I'd like to just end by saying there's a number of folks here that are in favor that may not be able to speak, but I just asked them to stand and show their support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Makola Abdullah, and on deck is Christopher Dean.
Thank you. My name again is Makola Abdullah, and I'm the provost at Bethune-Cookman University. And today I'm proud to represent Bethune-Cookman University in supporting the new Hard Rock Hotel. As we continue to move our curriculum towards leadership and entrepreneurship and participate in the continued economic development of our city, we believe that the Hard Rock Hotel will provide opportunities for Bethune-Cookman University to partner in ways that benefit our students, particularly our students in our School of Business and in our Hospitality Management program. And we're very excited to have continued opportunities for our students to use their skills and education that they get from Bethune-Cookman here in Daytona Beach. Dr. Long?
Good evening. I'm Aubrey Long, Dean of the School of Business at Bethune-Cookman University, and I'm here, if it were in 1904, our founder would be here actually supporting this particular effort. First off, I speak more from the educational point, that side of it, more in the hospitality management and the economic development portion. We hope that all with the economic development that's taking place on one side of ISB and, of course, on the other side will benefit us in the middle of this particular whole operation. So in terms of the economic development, I'm sure that the Midtown will actually benefit from these particular efforts. And we would, as we look at the job situation, we're constantly looking at our students leaving this area. We need to maintain this particular talent within this particular community. So in order to make that happen, we're looking for better paying jobs, as well as moving up and making this a global type situation. So again, with the support from that of Bethune-Cookman University, we thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you.
Christopher Dean, and on deck is Dwight Selby.
Good evening. I'm Christopher Dean. Good evening, Mayor. I'm a new resident to this area. If you remember when you met me, I was just here a few months as a new business owner. I told you of the responses of people when I said I moved down here from Pittsburgh. The response was what? Do you remember? Why?
Yeah. I choose not to remember.
You choose not to remember, right? Yeah. And I can understand that.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to change that to why wouldn't you move to this area? This is a fantastic opportunity. Being a new member of this area, I moved here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania has a Hard Rock. It made a difference in an area called Station Square. And for this area to even think about not moving this business into this area is just silly. We talk about the students, the graduating students. What about the students who are juniors, sophomores? There's going to be 250 rooms. Someone's got to help with that. Someone's going to have to help with all the things that need to be done at this location and all the locations that are going to spawn up because of this business. This is exactly what this area needs. This is exactly the way to wake the sleeping giant that Daytona Beach is. There's no way that you should even think twice about you guys making this move. I think you should be applauded for what you're doing, and we should make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dwight Selby, and on deck is Sandy Bishop.
Good evening. I'm Dwight Selby. I live at, my address is 200 East Granada in Ormond Beach. I have a company called Selby Realty, and for the last year and a half, we've been very involved in the downtown. We represent Burgoyne Properties and other property owners downtown. When we started a year and a half ago, they had an occupancy rate. They own most of the block that's bounded by International Speedway, Beach Street, Bay Street, and Palmetto, except for the buildings along International Speedway primarily. The occupancy rate was 70% when we took over. It's now at 98% in that block, and it's through hard work. But what we've seen is an awful lot of interest in downtown, and I'm here to speak tonight about the Hard Rock because the linkage between the beach side and out west with what's going on at the Speedway and Daytona Rising and Daytona 1 is really, really important, especially for downtown, and this will stimulate additional growth and development. The downtown is 1.2 miles away from the site, and the ability to bring visitors to downtown is a huge benefit. So I speak in favor of it, and I hope that you will do all that you can to support this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandy Bishop, and on deck is Josh Wagner.
Hi, I'm Sandy Bishop. I'm the Executive Director of the Volusia Building Industry Association and an Indigo resident, like our city manager. Thank you for hearing me, Commissioners. The news that this Hard Rock project is coming to fruition, and hopefully with local contractors, is music to the ears of the 235 corporate members of the Volusia Building Industry Association. Construction is the gift that keeps on giving, because when people work on a construction site, they don't fly in for the day, folks. They live here. They're at Publix, they're at Winn-Dixie, they're going to the movies, they're going out to dinner, they're spending money in our community, and that money's turning over and over and over again. So we very much applaud this, and it's all about jobs and our economy and getting things going again in Daytona. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh Wagner, and on deck is Glenn Storch.
Do Jensen and Jonah need a little card? They pay property taxes. I was going to leave them and have them babysit out in the lobby, but I kind of thought it was fitting to bring them in for this item. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Josh Wagner, 109 DeMont Avenue in Port Orange. My office address is 1020 West International Speedway. This was a big deal when it became before the county council, not in this form, but when we were talking about CRAs and existing CRAs, I literally had to get on my hands and knees to make sure another vote came through because of economic development and how important it is to this city. And the reason I wanted to bring the kids up here is this is why we do it. And this is why we make infrastructure decisions. It's so when these kids get older, they have the opportunity that we have. We see it, but they're really going to live it. And it's exciting to see projects like this and to vote on projects like this that are going to have such a lasting impact he really, really wants to get up here and say. I will tell you this. I've been training. What are you going to say tonight at the band shell? Vote for Alex and Sierra. So we'll do this to make it nice. Got to be fair for both kids, right? Yes. Yes. Oh. On that being said, before he eats the microphone, I just want to let you know, hey, this is what it's like when you got a working wife and you're, hey, I know a lot of you do, so they're cute and I love him and I wouldn't change the world. He could eat this microphone and I'd smile. So on that, I absolutely support this project from an official level and from a personal level. And for these two little guys, yes. Do you want them to support this project too, Jonah?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That's all we need to hear.
I'm going to leave it on his note.
Done deal.
And I'm going to get these guys to pizza and then the band shell. Vote for Alex and Sierra. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Glenn Storch is our next speaker, and John Ferguson is on deck.
First of all, as you probably know, I represent Bayshore Capital, and one of the things I want to say is this should be a celebration. I mean, you see all of these people, the entire community coming together to accomplish this goal, and there was a lot of hurdles to overcome. There were a lot of problems to overcome, but if you'll recall, I mean, this was a while ago, you gave the staff the ability to work out this contract and negotiate this contract, and even though we had a bunch of things we had to deal with, we dealt with them. And so, first of all, I want to compliment your staff in accomplishing this goal. And it's because of the fact that you've been able to work together to accomplish this goal. And again, working together is just not us, but it's also the county, it's the city, it's the business community, it's everyone in the neighborhood. We've been working together to make this happen, and I think we've done a very good job, but I do want to compliment your staff on a very difficult agreement. So thank you.
I want to say thank you on that note, because that is what we want to hear about our staff. And that is I think this entire commission has said all along, we want it to be known that we want to work with the business community, we want to iron out problems, and we want this to be a city where folks not only are willing and able to invest, but that they feel good about how they do business with us.
Well, the way you accomplish goals is by working together, and that's what we've done in this case.
No.
So thank you.
Thank you.
John Ferguson, and on deck is Marjorie Johnson.
Good evening. John Ferguson, 150, scratch that, we just moved, 149 South Ridgewood, Suite 700. I'm here today as the chairman for Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation. And along those routes, I love what you just said, Mayor. And an attitude like that is going to help the economic development efforts beyond words. The project tonight, beyond it being great for tourism, beyond it being great for the residents here who have another venue in which to partake, on economic development, as we have their outreach in other cities, and we tell them about our area, all the great attributes of our area, it's still a sell. It's a sales job. And the more tools we have in our back pocket, the better. And as they learn that an organization like the Hard Rock is coming to Daytona Beach, that immediately turns the perception. It is a great tool for economic development. It makes our job easier. I appreciate all the comments and your time and effort for everything for doing economic development, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Marjorie Johnson is our final speaker.
Greetings.
Mayor and City Commissioner Marjorie Johnson, 122 South Keach Street. I'm here tonight to speak in favor of the Hard Rock Cafe. I feel that it will stimulate the economy and bring needed jobs to this area. When I first heard about it, I was very, very excited. I got to meet all of the players, and I thought, well, this is going to be good for our area. So I feel that jobs is what we need here, and I'm always at this podium speaking for jobs to come to this area. And this is what the Hard Rock Cafe will do for this area. I also would like to say that, one city, one vision, this is part of it, the Hard Rock Cafe. And when people look around this town, we need to bring a lot of anything that's going to create jobs to this economy and stimulate it. So I feel that this is good news, and I am ready to celebrate, and I would like to see y'all make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the commission, do you have any comments? We have a motion and a second on the floor. No?
It might be worth noting that this isn't the actual the vote for the whole project in general. This is the incentive agreement. So if we want to make our comments now or wait till later, probably.
I would assume, and let's be clear, this is certainly, as has been stated, an evening that is worthy of celebration. And that's why I have not tried to rush the moment, although it could not have come on a more peculiar evening, because I have to rush to the band shell at some point for Alex and Sierra. Yeah. But that just tells you how many great things are taking place in this city simultaneously. But I would just assume that if we have comments, that we go ahead and say what we have to say now. So if you guys have any, but if you don't, just vote and move. No. All right, we have a motion and a second.
Yeah, I think we're going to make comments. I think I'll go ahead. I'll start with my comments. A lot of thanks has been given to a lot of people. There's been a ton of hard work that's been accomplished in this whole project, and I thank Mr. Wolfon for assembling such a great team of individuals to work with a great staff and come up with solutions to some serious issues. But I also want to point out too, for years it seems like it's always been, whenever there's big projects on the horizon, it seems like it's always the business community versus the residents. And I want to thank Mr. Dennis of the South Atlantic Neighborhood Association for facilitating meetings with Mr. Wolfon and Glenn Storch specifically to iron out a lot of those details. Some of the things that would come before the commission on a night like tonight, when I think a lot of us are really, really happy about what's happening. I want to thank you personally for putting a lot of time and energy into answering a lot of the questions before we got to this point, because like we said, it is a celebration tonight, and I think it's a great step forward for the city of Daytona Beach. So thank you, Mr. Dennis.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I think it's great that everybody's here, but I'll tell you, I'll be even more excited when we're all down there and the permits have been pulled and we're actually doing the groundbreaking, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. So hope it's very soon. Okay.
I would just say it's an early Christmas present to not only have you here investing in your community, but so many people here to support it and come together. I know we're voting on the incentive agreement. I think it's a great agreement. I think that the public improvements that are going to be made are going to really serve the beach side well. So I'm excited to vote on this tonight.
There's been a huge amount of effort. It's been about 2 years in the making. I think it was over a year ago that we had breakfast and to discuss the project. It's been a while. It's the staff, your folks, everybody that's been involved. Really, it's been a great project, and the neighborhood and getting the right information out and working with them and continuing to work with them as we move through the next steps in this project. Is integral. I got to make my push for local folks again. I know we got a lot of Orlando and some out of town folks that are involved. I think we got. Mark and Glenn are the local guys involved right now, and as we move forward, the more local hires and whatnot that we can get. As Bishop pointed out, that the contractors from out of town, they're going to live here during the construction. They're going to spend their wages in our community, and that's going to be great for Daytona Beach as well. but I always got to make my plug for the local guy. So, but I can't thank you enough for your interest in Daytona Beach and sticking with it, because here we are 2 years later, and we really are at the point where the momentum's there, and I really see this project come to fruition.
Right. Well, as we proceed with economic growth in the city of Daytona Beach, I can't help but just be elated because I grew up here. I know what this city's been like for the last 40 to 50 years. And I think we're on the verge of a great economic boom. And I just have to thank you guys for the delicate task you had of bridging that with the neighborhood. That was just a great job. And I can remember coming up, and my dad would always say, guys, what did it feel like when you hit a home run? And there you can remember, if one of us hit a home run, it was for the whole family. So this is what I'm saying for the city of Daytona Beach. It feels like we're on the verge of hitting a home run. Not just a home run, we're on the verge of a grand slam with all the great things that's going on in the city. Not just on the beach side, out west, all over the whole Volusia County area. We're on the verge of a grand slam. And, for that, it's priceless.
Yeah, that's true.
It's exciting. I used to wonder who made decisions for Daytona Beach, and now I'm one of those people. I'm glad to be one of those that's making a decision this evening. Thank you so much for choosing our city. Thank you for working with our staff, and staff, thank you for making this come to fruition. And I also want to echo the comments of Commissioner Gilliland, and let's make sure that we support the locals in hiring them. And just thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, a great deal has been said, and I don't think that this evening can be overstated. And that's why I wanted to take the time to allow the commission to acknowledge what a moment this is. I also want to say that you all could not be joining a city that is more ready for you than we are. The leaders of our community have come out tonight to express how much we welcome you. And I want to say, as the mayor of the city, that he talked about a home run, and I didn't ever hit home runs because I didn't have any power. I had to beat out most of my hits, but he couldn't have said it better. It feels great, and our city, we more than welcome you. We embrace you, and we look forward to you being a part of the business community, and we thank you for working with us, and I want to commend our staff for doing the job that we have demanded as a commission. Because that's one of the things that I know that we have all been very pushy and aggressive about, is to say that we want to make it palatable for folks. And you guys have done that. And it starts with you, Mr. Manager, and throughout the staff, and we want to thank you all. And for each and every one of you tonight who have come out to express your appreciation, this is what Daytona Beach is about. We are a unified city with a great future, and we all want to participate, and we all want to benefit from it. So in conclusion, again, welcome, and we're excited to have you. Do you have any comments that you'd like to make?
I didn't fill out the form.
That's okay.
Well, I don't think I've ever felt so touched, moved. Henry Wolfond, my address 2701 South Atlantic Avenue, Daytona Beach Shores. I feel fortunate to have come to this community. I think the people are wonderful. There's so many people to thank, but I'd especially like to thank Lisa France for coming out this evening. I think what Speedway and the France family and NASCAR is doing with Daytona Rising and One Daytona makes this possible. Makes it possible because, all boats rise with the tide. The market is ready for this transformation. I feel fortunate to be a part of it. I think, as Mr. Galloway said, when this market drives about 8 million tourist visits a year, but a lot of those tourists are staying at Orlando hotels, and we want to be part of changing that. And that's why we're here. It's been great to meet with Mike Dennis and Susan and the people from the local community. We've had our differences and we've had our discussions, but I think we really do want to work together to be a good neighbor to them and have them enjoy the benefits of us being there. I want to thank Hyatt Brown for speaking, and everyone else, Kent Sharples of the CEO Business Alliance, Mr. Maroney from the Chamber of Commerce, and just everyone on your staff, Jim, and your people, Reed, and all the guys in planning, and all of you for giving us this welcome and the support that you have. So, Glenn, you've been awesome, and our team, John. So, I don't want to take up any more time, but thank you very much for all of your support and working with us. It's been.
And just before we vote, I also want to commend Commissioner Lynch for doing an outstanding job. This project is in his zone, and it has been said before that.
Correct that. It's in Kelly's zone.
Oh,
it is in Kelly's zone. We've both been attending a lot of meetings.
I didn't know that. So it's in. Well, both of you have both been a major part of it, but I know that he's did an excellent job, and I want to commend both of you now that I've had that. Not Freudian slip, it was just, I didn't know. But nevertheless, good job of ensuring that the residents felt heard. And that is something that we want to do, always. We have a motion and a second. With that said, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Likes not opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Moving on to item 7B, it is the WC Grand Redevelopment Area. Excuse me. Oh, wow.
Beachside. All right, we've got to move.
Moving on to item 7B, it is the WC Grand Redevelopment Agreement Second Amendment Resolution, a resolution approving the second amended and restated WC Grand Redevelopment Agreement with WC Grand LLC and the City of Daytona Beach for the sale and redevelopment of city-owned property located at 516 South Grandview Avenue in the South Atlantic Redevelopment Area, authorizing subdivision and development of 15 single-family homes on platted lots, authorizing the chair and city clerk to execute the agreement and providing an effective date. Commissioner
I'm just
Kelly.
announcing my conflict, and I'm filing Form B. The nature of my conflict is my husband, Jack White, is a partner in White Chalice LLC, which is the developer of the WC Grand. And thanks.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any speakers?
I do have several speakers. Mr. Chris Chalice on behalf of the applicant, and on deck is Darrell Perkins.
Mayor, Commissioner, Jack and I were believing everyone is here for us.
That's what I thought, Chris, you know?
Thank you all very much. I'm Chris Chalice with White Chalice Redevelopment, which is the manager of WC Grand LLC, is the applicant. Our address is 112 Orange Avenue, Daytona Beach. And we're the other end of the redevelopment spectrum, I suppose, and it really is exciting to be here tonight with this group and what they're proposing to do. It's very exciting for us as well. We've been very honored to work with this city and the commission for several years and what we're trying to do on the redevelopment side, on the smaller scale. We want to point out that we just finished construction and we have closings starting on Monday on the Williams Square at Magnolia and Palmetto, which is a project almost identical to what we're proposing with the WC Grand. And so everybody who's here, I encourage you to stop by and see how we just finished out the Williams Square, and we're excited about hopefully being able to do the same with the WC Grand. With that, I'm happy Jack is here with me. Jack White is here with me tonight. Happy to answer any questions or respond to anybody who might have questions of us from the audience.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
I do have one speaker, Darrell Perkins.
Mayor, commissioners, and staff, I feel honored to be here. Earlier this week, I met with this good gentleman as a owner of the Eagle Apartments right across the street, It looks like a good plan. We went through that, also with your city managers, but I did have a couple of concerns, and I just wanted to make sure that they got heard. And what I'm speaking for is basically everything around there. There is a city light there on that property, but what the problem with the city light is it's a Christmas tree, so it basically takes up about 8 feet of one of his lots. So I'm anticipating that pole to be removed because it'd be tough to sell a lot with all you see on it is this power pole. I just want to make sure that when the plans are finalized, that there is a light replacing that light and that pole in some sort of manner, because that is basically the light for that block. And that was my biggest concern. And the other concern I had, everybody knows that, especially when the tourists come around and we have an event like the air show, parking is terrible. I just want to make sure that those spots around that coveted property that is parking for everyone does not turn into permit parking for the other residents. So it could best benefit the other neighbors of that community. And that's what I have. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm really impressed with your counselors. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Again, for the record, I'm Chris Chalice with White Chalice. To respond to Daryl's comments, we did meet. We had a wonderful visit with him on Monday. There is a power pole with an FPL light on it, kind of in the middle of the property. We will wind up probably relocating that pole, as he indicated. But we've talked about safety concerns, and lighting in the evening is important to our residents as well. We're not at the stage where we work with FP&L on that yet, but we will be soon. And we'll work with, Daryl and I both have each other's contact information, and we'll work together with FP&L to solve that. And the other item, just for the clarification of the commissioners and the public and those listening at home, we aren't asking for permit parking or anything like that along the street. But pursuant to the development agreement that we have with the city, all of our units are required to have rear entry 2-car garages. And so all of our units will self-park, and we're not asking for any permit parking or anything else on the street front. And we talked about that as well. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We have a motion and second. Any comments?
Go ahead.
Just real quick, I just want to say it looks like an incredible project. For those folks who are not familiar with what used to be on this property, it was bad, and it's a great thing that it's gone. And I've had an opportunity to look at your project at Magnolia, and it looks incredible so far, and you guys are doing a really good job. I hope to see the ground being cleared soon, and hopefully, do you have a timeline already?
On WC Grand? For WC Grand, we're working on finishing our financing right now. It'll be Q1 when we break ground, I would expect. We've got the sales momentum, and we've got the financing pretty much in place, or will be after the holiday.
Very good. Well, I just think this will be a catalyst for future expansion of improvements in that whole area, so thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to say that I'm excited the Hard Rock's coming, but I get just as excited to have more residential properties on the beach side that are improved, and want to see us. Actually, I think it helps everybody if we can improve our residential base on the beach side, and we've talked about how we need to do this, and this is certainly a step in the right direction, and I applaud you guys. I really do. I want you to be successful wherever you are. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Likes not opposed, the same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Do we have any inquiries from the commission? Start with Commissioner Reed. Any comments? Commissioner Gill, none? Okay. Mr. Manager, do you have any comments? Okay. With that said, this meeting is adjourned. We will reassemble in about 5 minutes at the most.
So hurry up.
Yeah, exactly.